ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुक्तापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सह गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome to IBC Siksha Bhagavad Gita reading. We are going to continue from where we left. That is, we ended chapter number 14. Now we will go to chapter number 15. So 14 we read about the three modes of material nature, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So 14 we read about the three modes of material nature, and Krishna says in 14.27. Uh-oh. Okay. In 14.26 he says, Mamcho Vabicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samyetan Brahma Bhuya Kalpate. So he basically says if you want to get transcend the three modes of material nature, then you have to do bhakti, right? And you come to the status of Brahman. Brahman is Brahman is the spiritual sky, and in deeper to it, it is Bhagwan realization. Okay, but to do bhakti, we need to uh, be attached to Krishna and at the same time be detached from material world, right? We cannot do bhakti by being attached to this world. That bhakti will be in mode of passion or mode of ignorance if we are attached to this world. I gave some links which says what is bhakti in mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. It's in we'll just quickly go over there. Interestingly, very interesting. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:29-8. These three things. So bhakti executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent, angry, and who is separatist is considered to be in mode of darkness, tamagun. The worship of deities in the temple by separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame, opulence is in the mode of passion. So here, both the persons are very much interested. I mean, they are doing bhakti, they are chanting the holy name, they are worshipping deities. Sometimes they are reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. They are going to holy places, but they are very attached to this world. So they want to be proud, envious, violent, material enjoyment, how much money I can get, how much fame I can get, how much opulence I can get by doing this thing. So all this is in mode of passion and ignorance. Hmm? Like uh, how much money I can make on the name of God, right? Then there is bhakti in mode of goodness. What is that? When he worships the personality of Godhead and offers the result of his activities in order to free himself from the inevitabilities of fruitive activities, his devotion is said to be in mode of goodness. So here the bhakti is like I will offer whatever fruit I get to Krishna and then get rid of the sinful reaction, the fruitive activity. So this is in mode of goodness. But what is pure bhakti? Pure bhakti is done everything out of love. It is not in interest of getting rid of sinful reactions. It is not in interest of any material fame, enjoyment, opulence. That Shuddha Bhakti is not out of enviousness, proud, violent anger. It is out of what? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi saishna manina manadena kirtaniya sadar. It is out of humility. That bhakti is out of humility, tolerance, and offering respect and expecting none. So we have these great verses um, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which defines bhakti. So if we are ever confused what is bhakti, how it is to be performed, then we should read this Shishtashtaka. No desire for accumulating wealth, no desire for beautiful women or men, and not any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotion service birth after birth. Okay. So now how to get to this kind of bhakti? Right? That is the question. And that becomes the topic of 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, how to become detached from this world? What is the process and how we should look at it? So I'll spend some time. So Krishna says this world is the reflection, is like a reflection of a tree in the water, right?
Mm.
So it's a reflection. It looks like that. It's upside down tree, and one is very interested in this reflection, and then one thinks that, oh, the pleasure lies here because I can see mangoes in the water. So one jumps and tries to get that mango, but he doesn't get, because it's a reflection. The one who understands this tree, he will then do efforts to cut down the attachment for this tree and then go back to the real tree to enjoy the real happiness. Okay. So if there is false happiness, there has to be somewhere a real happiness, right? So that real happiness is in the spiritual world. If you see the reflection, we also have relationships, enjoyment, so many other things, sports, playing, but in this material world, it is not always loving, right? Like I always give this very nice example, when a boy and girl are going to get married, right? And it's before their marriage, few months before their marriage, the amount of phone call and the talking that they're doing with each other, right? So much. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, they're just talking, 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 talking. But after marriage, does the husband pick up the phone call of the wife? No,
No,
right?
Prabhuji.
It is only for a very short time or whatever. It is not like out of anger or something, but that whole excitement is not there. It's gone. You can see here, this picture here. That excitement is gone After marriage, it is, the the wife wants to hit the husband. Anyway, and sports. Krishna also has lot of sports. Plays every day, and we also play here. But sometimes we fight, and it produces so much of pain in our heart. And nowadays, sports people are getting heart attacks. You must have read this, right? Sports people are getting heart attack right there in the field, especially football players. Now
Mm.
they have to be the fittest people on the earth, right? But the body is like that. You cannot extend that body to play always. The enjoyment of this world, drinking. They are showing drinking. If we drink, and then our liver goes bad, and then we are in hospital, and what not happens, ultimately death comes closer. Then death is also a painful thing, right? We lose our loved ones, and then we cry our whole life, right? It's very painful. Some people are attracted to actors, actresses, singers, and they think, oh, they are so nice, they are so nice, they are so nice. But these actresses and all that, they are in their personal life, they are so much frustrated. We can see, they are so much frustrated. They sometimes take drugs. They get married, and then after a few years they divorce also. So all that things, tells us that how much happiness, true happiness, they are having. So it's a reflection of the real world. There are relationships which are eternal. There is friendship which is full of love. Even if there is fight, it is still, the outcome is still loving, right? And Krishna, if one imagines Krishna as so great, so nice, in reality he is like that. Not like today's actor and actresses. Krishna in reality is like that. Actor and actresses, they just act like that, but they're never equal to that. Okay. So when one hears about Krishna, then his attachment to the material world loses. It reduces. And when he sees that a material world is a temporary place, then also his interest loses in the material world. Okay. So two things happens. One understands the reality of this material world, and when one is told about the reality of the spiritual world, and then the desire changes from staying in material world to going back home, back to God. Okay. So this is the chapter all about how to cut down this banyan tree, which is upside down, and it's actually a reflection. So we'll get into the chapter. Your yoga of the supreme person, Purushottam Yoga. Hmm? Very nice chapter, 20 verses only, but um, it has lot of knowledge in it. Okay. The personality of the supreme personality of God is said. It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So the Vedas, they generally talk about this banyan tree. What is it? Um, this banyan trees. Okay, we'll take some help of notes. Yeah. See the roots of this banyan tree. They are going upwards, and some are going in various directions, downwards, sideways, and all that. The branches of this banyan tree are like places where upper and lower planets are there. The leaves are the Vedic hymns. The twigs are sense objects. Tips of branches are senses. Fruits. What is the fruit of this tree? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. What is the nourishment? How the tree is growing? The three modes are nourishing it. What is the living entity doing? It is jumping from one branch to another, going from lower planet system to upper, upper to lower, lower to upper, like that. Hmm? Okay. See. Okay. So this is a very important purport. So let's read it. Somebody, can you, anyone read this purport?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. After the discussion of the importance of Bhakti Yoga, one may question, what about the Vedas? It is explained in this chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to the banyan tree. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end, and for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. These trees' roots grow upward because they begin from where Brahma is located. The topmost planet of this universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. This process of extrication should be understood. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of the material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the
Huh.
Lord.
Wait. So devotional service is what?
Shravanam,
One people,
Kirtanam,
yeah, Shravanam,
chanting.
Kirtanam, Vishnu. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
All that gives us attachment to Krishna. Okay. And same time, devotional service is detaching from material activities. So it is not just detachment. Sometimes people think, right, spiritual life is just detachment. Sab chhod do.
Hmm.
But it is not like that. It is some spiritual path are like that actually, like the Ashtanga path, the Jnana path. But when it comes bhakti, it achieves both. One leaves also, and one gets attached also. And both of this is simultaneously happening in bhakti. One is getting detached from material world and attached to Krishna. Go ahead.
And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. The root of this material existence grows upward. This means that it begins from the total material substance, from the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches, representing the various planetary systems. The fruits represent the results of the living entities' activities, namely religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Now, there is no ready experience in this world of a tree situated with its branches down and its roots upward. But there is such a thing that tree can be found beside a reservoir of water. We can see that the trees on the bank reflect upon the water with their branches down and roots up. In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as the tree's reflection is situated on water. Desire is the cause of things being situated in this reflected material light. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with it.
Yeah.
This
So
tree,
1 minute, Mataji. 1 minute.
uh,
Yeah. So desire is the cause of being situated in this material world. So desire means what? I want to stay here. Now that desire, when is told to Krishna, is I want to go to Krishna.
yes,
Okay. So that is the thing. When we hear about Krishna, all our attention is I want to go to Krishna. So it is just change of that desire. Desire is not brought to zero. It is
yeah,
change of desire.
change
Now
of this.
in Buddhist philosophy, it is zero. Making the desire zero is the goal, desireless. But in bhakti, the goal is not that. The goal is to purify the desire, change the desire, transform the desire from being interested in living this world to leaving this world and going back to God, going back to Krishna. Okay, go ahead, Mother.
This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Everything is there in the spiritual world. The impersonalists take Brahman to be the root of this material tree, and from the root, according to Sankhya philosophy, come Prakriti, Purusha, then the three gunas, then the five gross elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, then the 10 senses, the Sendriya, mind, etc. In this way, they divide up the whole material world into 24 elements. If Brahman is the center of all manifestations, then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and the other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. The material world is the perverted reflection, so the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness. But in reality, the Prakriti is the external energy of the Supreme Lord, and the Purusha is the Supreme Lord Himself, and that is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Since this manifestation is material, it is temporary. A reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment to this material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formulas of Vedas is attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. Purpose of Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of Godhead Himself, is to cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual world. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm talking about this tree. It's a very nice picture. Um, let's go here. Okay. So this tree you can see, this is spiritual world, and it's a reflection of that. And the root and all Brahmaji is here. Various branches are there: economic development, sense gratification, liberation, all that. And it goes into various forms, lower forms, higher forms, animals, reptiles. So soul is just moving from one tree to another and trying to be happy. But the real happiness will come when we reach the spiritual world, right? So one who knows the Vedas should be able to cut this tree. That is the qualification, that he should be able to know how to cut it. If he doesn't know how to cut it, then he doesn't know Vedas. What he knows is just information. Okay. And how to cut this tree? How to cut this tree? Can anyone tell me how to cut this tree?
By detaching ourselves from the material activities,
And
attaching ourselves with the spiritual activity.
yeah, both should happen. detachment also, and attachment to Krishna. Actually, if we try to be attached to Krishna, then automatic detachment happens. Okay. The branches of this tree extend downwards, upwards, nourished by the three modes of material nature. Twigs are the objects of the senses. The tree also has roots going down, and they are bound to fruitive actions of human society. Um, so yeah, so this explains this picture. This is the Brahma Jyoti, and above that is spiritual world. Below that is material world. Um, the twigs are objects of the senses. Twigs are sense objects, like that. So this tree, this tree is like this. The purport's a little bigger, so I will try to use this notes to summarize it. Okay, it's nourished by the three modes of material nature, fruitive acts. Okay, hold forward. That the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. See, this tree is very huge, so we cannot really go from one end to another. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Therefore, one must seek a place, having gone, one never returns, and thereafter, and there surrender to that Supreme Personal God from whom everything began, and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So, we have to cut down with determination and at the same time seek to go to spiritual world. Yeah, someone read this highlighted part.
Hare Krishna. When entangled with the material expansions of the tree, one cannot see how far the tree extends, nor can one see the beginning of this tree. Yet one has to find out the cause. I am the son of my father. My father is the son of such and such a person, etc. By searching in this way, one comes to Brahma, who is generated by the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Finally, in this way, when one reaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the end of research work. One has to search out that origin of this tree, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the association of persons who are in knowledge of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, by understanding, one becomes gradually detached from this false reflection of reality, and by knowledge, one can cut off the connection and actually become situated in the real tree.
Yeah. So one has to question, who is my real father?
Krishna is the real son.
Yeah, we have to come to this conclusion. I am son of my father is son of his father, and so on, so on, so on. And then there is Brahma who created Brahma? Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So Vishnu is ultimate goal, ultimate source of everything. When we come to that understanding, then we can cut this tree. Yes, the word asanga.
The word asanga is very important in this connection because the attachment for sense enjoyment and lording it over the material nature is very strong. Therefore, one must learn detachment by discussion of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures, and one must hear from persons who are actually in knowledge. As a result of such discussion in the association of devotees, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So we have to hear about Krishna. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. When that happens, then this asanga, sense gratification, lording over material nature, it's given up. We went through so many examples, right?
Yes.
Um, we heard about this Ratnakar who became Valmiki Rishi by chanting the holy name of Lord Ram. Hmm? Then we heard about the story of the thief who heard about Krishna, and when he reached and when he met Krishna, then he he didn't remain a thief. He became a devotee. And then we took examples from our own life. We were able to give up certain things which we couldn't imagine. Hmm? Some could give up easily, tea, coffee, onion, garlic. Okay, this one, read this section.
To gain the favor of that personality of Godhead, one has only to surrender, and this is a result of performing devotional service by hearing, chanting, etc. Is the cause of the extension of the material world. This has already been explained by the Lord Himself. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. I am the origin of everything. Therefore, to get out of the entanglement of this strong banyan tree of material life, one must surrender to Krishna. As soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically from this material extension. Hare Krishna.
Now, the process of Sharanagati is there. That is surrender. What is the exact process of surrender is in the next verse. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, false association, and who understand the eternal are done with material lust, who are freed from dualities of happiness, distress, and who unbewildered know how to surrender onto the personality of Godhead, attain to that eternal kingdom. So there is a process of surrender. Now, a thief surrenders to the police. So there is a process for that, right? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. So there's a process for everything. Similarly, there's a process for surrendering to Krishna. And these are the points in it. Okay. Okay. Let's read the purport. There's a lot of stuff in, there's a lot of points in this purport. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. The surrendering process is described here very nicely. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride. Because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the lord of material nature, it is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know by the cultivation of real knowledge that he is not Lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord. When one is free from delusion caused by pride, he can begin the process of surrender.
Okay.
For
Okay.
one who
Wait.
is
Wait.
always. Huh.
So this pride is there, right? It is mine. Can you give me an example wherein a person had pride and he was like difficult to, he was becoming difficult for everyone.
Hiranyakashipu.
Ravana.
Yeah, yeah, that is there. And day to day example, whom you saw in your family, heard about in others' family, any story.
Prabhuji, generally, person who knows everything, they very learned, they think that they know everything on
Yeah, yeah,
material.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When they think, they say, I know everything. And then it's very difficult to even talk with that person. Right? Okay. Any other example?
for our, for our
One
family
who is
members,
Huh.
sometimes we become the kind of they see us as a, we know so much of his con and all. So it's so
See, in this regard, I will tell you, we definitely know a lot, right? We definitely know a lot because we are
yeah,
reading Bhagavad
yeah,
Gita,
yeah.
Bhagavatam. Now,
Right,
but
right, right.
but how to present it to others? There we make sometimes
Yes,
mistake. So
yes.
I will tell you
yes,
a very simple formula. If you are presenting this knowledge to a small child, how will you present?
With pictures,
Stories.
Okay.
stories, yes.
Anything more?
Reading, showing the notebooks, showing the books,
See, this is a
Giving,
Ramayana.
toddler.
giving
Okay, this is a
by
example.
toddler
example,
who cannot
by
even
Example,
read.
example,
Who cannot even read. So how do we do? How
by
will you introduce?
example, Prabhuji,
we have to become a child and then teach them.
we
Okay.
act like that,
We have to become a child.
Dramatize,
we become
dramatize, Prabhuji.
yeah, and so much love is there, so much care is there.
Ha, so much love, so much care. Anything more? Go to very specific. You are going to teach Krishna consciousness to a 3 year, 4 year child. How will you do it?
I mean, I have to behave like that first. I mean, I have to.
That's fine.
It's not we have to become a child and then we have to tell them
One
that
has to become a child, one has to become
we have
Krishna
to tell
and
them
do acting.
how it goes on.
Okay, okay,
Krishna,
okay,
this
okay.
is Krishna. He
Okay,
takes
how
you.
can you make the child do any devotional activity?
By
Yeah, means
by
like.
doing ourselves, Prabhuji,
Yes,
by
Okay,
Prabhuji.
by doing
Yeah.
I become
ourselves,
an
yes.
example.
But what
And
what
Yes, yes.
exactly? What
Raman,
are the activities that you
Chanting,
can do and they can
chant,
also do?
When we do Mangal
chanting.
Aarti, they can watch us and learn. When we do Kirtan, they can learn. Uh,
Okay,
they
okay. They
can
can
We
sing
can
absorb.
take them
kirtan.
to temple
Kartala,
also,
Yeah, they
Prabhuji,
Kartal.
can
Okay.
clap
often.
or
Ah,
do
okay,
Ask
okay,
something.
okay.
child to
Anything that
ring
you
the
put in
bell.
the mouth of the child, what will you put anything in something in the mouth of the child? I'm waiting for that.
Prasadam.
Prasadam,
Prasadam.
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 Yes,
Ah.
yes.
The first
And
thing you
taking
will
them
do
to
is
temple often also help them to Prabhuji. Taking them to temple often.
ha ha ha. See, the first thing that you do with the child is you offer prasadam
Prasadam.
because the
Okay.
child is an annamaya consciousness.
Hmm.
Okay, everything is for them anna only. Anna is everything. If anna is not there, then no philosophy works, right? So first
Yes.
try prasadam. Then with out of love and care, they start imitating you. You offer obeisances to Krishna, you can make them offer obeisances to Krishna. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, very famous verse.
Manmana mana
Mana
bhakta.
mana madbhakto.
Man mana
Madhyaji
mama
mam
bhaktakto
namaskuru.
madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evashis yukta evam atmanam mat parayana. Your mind always engages me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me. These two we can induce, right? Children to offer
Yes.
obeisances, worship them in arti, like you were telling. But all this we have to do it out of love, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
Out of love, care. Now, if we meet, say we now talked about a toddler. Say if we meet somebody who's 20 years of age. Now, how are we going to introduce this philosophy and
First,
preach?
first and foremost, we'll give him prasadam.
Yes, we have to do it the same way that we did it for the child. That is the key. Don't try anything different. Start like
Offer
how
to
see that person to be toddler, 3 4 year old son. Child. Don't see them as 20-year-old child. Start with the basic only. So that is the key. If you do that, then over the period of time you can then talk philosophy and all that. Okay. So does that help?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
So to
Prabhuji.
everyone we should start prasadam. See Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how did he preach? He just danced and chanted and very nice sweet singing.
Hmm.
That's it. Just hearing everybody started chanting. Even Muslims started chanting. Even Buddhists started chanting just by seeing his chanting and dancing. So that is preaching. So when we talk about common masses and all that, we have to start like that. We have to start with prasadam, kirtan, okay, and they should have nice time. When we bring them to temple, they should have nice time. That is very important for them. See, children means they if they find nice time at the temple, they will say, "I like to go to temple." And for them, that nice time could be Sunday school where they are playing also and they are learning also. They are doing something like that. If you try to restrict them, they say, "I'm not having nice time here. I won't come again." So it's like that. So those who are attached to this material world, they should have a nice time in Krishna consciousness. And when they grow up means they spiritually grow up. That happens by hearing for a long time. One grows up. Then you don't need this appeasement. Then simple prasadam will also work. Okay, so that is the key. Prasadam, kirtan, and nice environment helps. So yeah, so I was talking about relatives becoming puffed up. When parent dies, right? And if they don't write a will, so many times we have seen the eldest took away the whole thing. They become puffed up. This is mine, right? And then fights happen. They go to court and they're fighting for years. Why? Because he thought that that everything now belongs to him, right? Same brother sister fight, brothers fight, right? Property,
Yes, yes.
when they become puffed up. So this is it. Like Prabhupada is going to talk about this proprietorship. So where were he? Yeah. Start from here. Pride is due to illusion.
Pride is due to illusion, for although one comes here, stays for a brief time, and then goes away, he has the foolish notion that he is the lord of the world. He thus makes all things complicated. And he is always in trouble. The whole world moves under the impression people are considering the land, this earth, to belong to human society. And they have divided the land under the false impression that they are the proprietors. One has to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world. When one is freed from such a false notion, he becomes free from all the false associations called by familial, social, and national affections. These faulty associations bind one to this material world. After this stage, one has to develop spiritual knowledge. One has to cultivate knowledge of what is actually his own and what is actually not his own.
Yeah.
When one
So this proprietorship, if we give, right, we have to understand what is actually our own and what is not our own. Even that simple knowledge, whether it's spiritual or non-spiritual, right, it helps in a long way, right? So many fights can be avoided just by this one set of knowledge. Go ahead, Mataji.
And when one has an understanding of things as they are, he becomes free from all dual conceptions such as happiness and distress, pleasure and pain. He becomes full in knowledge, then it is possible for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So this
Hare
one
Krishna.
thing, that what is mine and what is not mine, that one becomes free from happiness, distress, pain, and pleasure. One becomes peaceful in this world. And Krishna gives this formula in 5th chapter only.
Bhaktaram Yagna Tapasam.
Yeah. Bhoktaram yagga tapasam sarva loka maheswaram surit
Sarvaloka
sarva bhutanam
Maheshwaram.
gyatva mam shantim richati. One who knows Krishna is the benefactor, Krishna is the owner, Krishna is the proprietor, and he is my best friend, then he attains peace. This is peace formula. And he's repeating here same, that you have to get out from this false prestige that everything belongs to you, illusion that everything belongs to you, false association. Those people who say that this belongs to you, that belongs to you. No, one who understands the eternal. I am not the body, but I am soul. One who's done with material lust. How much I enjoy in this material world, it is pain only. It is more pain and no gain. When they come to this understanding, one who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress. One who's not carried away by happiness, one who's not carried away by distress. And who unbewildered know how to surrender. Unbewildered means those who are not confused. And their focus is to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. Then they attain the eternal kingdom. Okay? Now, this eternal kingdom, what it is, how it is, Krishna is going to explain. That supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by sun or moon nor by fire electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Interestingly enough, he uses the example of like sun, moon, fire, electricity. Why? Why do you think Krishna talks about, there is this place where there is
He,
no need of sun, there
he
is
is
no need of moon, there is no
self-illuminated.
need of fire, there is no need of electricity.
He is self-illuminated. There's no need of
Effulgence, Prabhuji, effulgence
it.
from
He is
his
completely
Okay.
Brahma
Now,
Jyoti.
suppose you are going to some place.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You are going to say, let's say Vrindavan or Mayapur. What are the things that you are concerned over there? If you are booking a hotel or
AC,
something.
Accommodation,
Accommodation is
Accommodation, yeah.
comfortable or
And
not.
and what more?
lights,
Food,
accommodation,
food, Prabhuji,
AC.
food.
AC, light is there or not? Electricity is there or not? Right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Or let's say we are in Bangalore and I talk about this place called Marikuppam. You heard about Marikuppam?
yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
Bangarpet,
During
Marikuppam. And
Very
let's say
good.
we
correct.
decide, we have to go there
Mm,
and we will stay there.
mm.
Now we are so much attached to Bangalore that the first thing
Yeah.
question comes, hey, is there electricity, water
Electricity,
there or not?
water and electricity.
Ah, right. So our
Yes.
concerns are very
Yes.
basic, right? So
Yes.
Krishna starts with that concern and he says, don't worry. You don't need a sun there. You don't need a moon there. You don't need a fire there. You don't need electricity. Are you happy to go to such a place where you don't need such things?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
yes,
that's why Krishna is first talking about that.
Because people are interested in knowing that first, whether everything is there or not.
That's why Krishna starts with this.
Yes.
Because our needs are like that, right?
mm,
See, in this world, we have one planet like sun because it's all dark, right? So we
yes,
need this one bulb. In the night, we need a night bulb. The moon is there, right?
mm,
We need fire because sometimes we got cold. We need to cook. Electricity we need. So Krishna is saying, Golok Vrindavan, you don't need anything of this. See, our whole life goes into that, right? To just get these basic needs and to keep paying the bills of electricity, water, and all that, right?
I know.
You want to buy a house in Bangalore. What are the few things that you are going to definitely look into?
first
Water, Prabhuji.
water and then
Water.
electricity,
Yeah,
Electricity
water, right?
connection.
Water
plus
connection is
water.
there or not? Kaveri connection is there or not, right?
Kaveri
Yes.
connection is there or not? Power connection is
Water, then that TDS level in the water, what is it? Right? Uh,
yes,
Electricity is there or not?
yes,
I mean,
How
that part.
long this water source is there?
How long the water comes? If you stay in Hyderabad, then water comes 1 in 3 days.
Baapre.
Oh my God.
Oh,
You want to go there?
no,
no, no.
No, Prabhuji.
So this is what
No,
Krishna
Prabhuji.
starts with. You're worried of all these things.
Krishna.
There you don't have to worry. Very interesting, right? Okay. Okay. Someone read this highlighted one.
shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, go ahead.
For one who is too much attached to this material world, it is very difficult to cut that attachment. But if he takes to Krishna consciousness, there is a chance of gradually becoming detached. One has to associate himself with devotees, those who are in Krishna consciousness. One should search out a society dedicated to Krishna consciousness and learn how to discharge devotional service. In this way, he can cut off his attachment to the material world. One cannot become attached from the attraction of the material world simply by dressing himself in saffron cloth. He must become attached to the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, one should take it very seriously that devotional service, as described in the 12th chapter, is the only way to get out of this false representation of the real tree. In chapter 14, the contamination of all kinds of process by material nature is described. Only devotional service is described as purely transcendental.
Yeah. So simply by wearing saffron cloth, you don't become a devotee.
Yes.
Simply by wearing a Vaishnav tilak also, you don't become a devotee. When you
Mm.
actually practice as according to the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the devotional service, then you become a devotee. So what are the points in 12th chapter? Let's go there and spend some time. So it starts from 8th.
If you just fix your mind, no,
Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personal Godhead,
and engage
and
it.
engage all your intelligence in me, then thus you will live always in me, without a doubt. And if you cannot do this, Then practice sadhana bhakti. Do sadhana bhakti, regulative principles of bhakti yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. See, we read, right? Desire is the problem. Desire to be in this world,
Yeah.
and then we need to develop a desire to get out of this world and reach to Krishna, right?
Yes.
So when we don't have that desire, then we should develop, then we should practice, do sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means every day chanting certain set of rounds, getting up early, reading Bhagavatam, all that five things. And even in Shuddha Bhakti, all that continues. It is not like we change, it continues. And sometimes people are not even able to do this. Then what they should do? They should work for Krishna. Sometimes people donate. They are very good at donating. I cannot chant, but I can donate. Okay, fine, do like that. And those who are not able to donate also, then they should give up their results of their work and try to be self-situated. Whatever simple work they do, they try to be helping Krishna. And if that is also not possible, then cultivate some knowledge. And better than knowledge is meditation. Do some meditation. And better than meditation is realization of fruits of action. What you earn and all that, try to use that in Krishna's service. Then you will attain peace of mind. And when you attain peace of mind, then you can come to the state of bhakti yoga also very easily. And now, who can continue doing bhakti yoga? One who's not envious, but a equal kind friend of living entity who does not
हाँ
think
जी मेरे पास आ जाइए.
himself a proprietor, is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is basically equipoised, who doesn't put others into difficulty, who is not disturbed by others, equipoised in fear, anxiety, happiness, who is not dependent on ordinary course of water. He's dependent on Krishna, who's pure, expert, without care. I'll tell you one nice story about this thing. Who's not dependent on ordinary course of activities. Okay, there was a dacoit named Chandrai in Bengal in the time of Narottam Das Thakur, who who is our Acharya line after the six Goswamis left. Then it is Narottam Das Thakur. After Narottam Das Thakur, then there is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan and all. So what happened is this Chandrai was a dacoit and he used to kill people, loot people and all that. Because he became very sinful, right? A Brahmana Rakshasa ghost entered his body. Meaning this is a Atma. I mean, this what happens is someone who kills a Brahmana. Okay, someone who kills a Brahmana and a Brahmana kills someone. Okay, they become a ghost because it's terrible sin to kill a Brahmana. So that ghost entered his body because this guy was also very sinful, na? So his father was worried, what is happening to my son? He's terrible in this pain. This Brahmana Rakshasa has come. So he tried lot of tantra, mantra, this, that, nothing worked. Then one day somebody said, if a Vaishnav blesses your son, then this Rakshas can go away. At that point, he comes to know there is a pure Vaishnav named Narottam Das Thakur. So he goes to beg Narottam Das Thakur to give his mercy. Then Narottam Das Thakur comes to his house and he blesses Chandrai. And that very moment, the ghost runs away, runs out of his body. So Chandrai is now good. And then he takes association with Narottam Das Thakur, he becomes a devotee. And he stops all his dacoit and criminal activities. Later, what happens is someone from nearby village comes to know that Chandra has now become a good person. And that person, what happens is he wants to punish Chandra because Chandra did a lot of torture to him. So he catches Chandra and puts him in a dungeon. Dungeon is a ground, deep ground, like 15 feet, 20 feet down under the ground. He puts him there. Now again his father, Chandra's father, become worried. Now what will happen to my son? So he goes to one tantric. And this tantric said, yes, I can get your son out. Only thing, I will reach to his place and he has to chant this mantra. When he chants this mantra, then I can take him out of this dungeon. So okay, says Tantric. Then the Tantric, using mantras and subtle body, he reaches the dungeon where Chandra is there. And then Chandra, he tells to Chandra, Chandra, I have come here to take you, to rescue you. Let's escape. At that point, Chandra says, I will not chant your mantra because my guru has given me one mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and that is enough for me. I am not going to chant any other mantra. You go away.
Hari, Hari.
And after that, after a few days, that person who put him in dungeon, he only takes him out. He says, you have become a very great saint. There is no point in torturing you. So a devotee is not dependent on ordinary course of activity. He is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result. He is very dear to me. He neither rejoices nor grieves. Meaning, basically, he doesn't get carried away by this material happiness and distress. He neither laments nor desires. He renounces both auspicious and inauspicious. And such a devotee is very dear to me, who is equal to friend and enemy, equipoise in honor, dishonor. So many things Krishna says in 12th chapter. We have to follow all of that. Okay. See, spiritual world is paramam. Paramam means it's full of six opulences, all beauty, all wealth, right? There is a one nice story here also, that it is said like Akbar, he wanted to help the Sanatan Goswami or Rupa Goswami, and he wanted to donate. And then he was asking, how much should I donate? How much should I donate? So then Sanatan Goswami said, there is this wall, just go and see what you can do. At that point, he gave him the vision to see the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, he saw a wall. In that wall, there is a small hole. And the wall was complete full of gems and, jewelries. And that small hole, Akbar was told to fill it up. And Akbar started thinking, where will I get this big gem to fill that hole? You cannot put mud, right, to such a wall. So like that, it is full of six opulences. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we covered a lot of points. These initial verses are very, very, intense. So how do we surrender to the Lord? Through the spiritual master. We should not have no prestige. Should not be an illusion. Give up free false association, free from dualities. We read this. Okay. 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 So next verses, Krishna is going to talk of some different topic. Basically, yeah, basically he's going to say living entities, how they are entangled in this world because of the mind. Then they carry different aromas. They take new bodies. And those who are in this knowledge of the soul, they only can see these things. And they only will endeavor in spiritual self-realization. Like that. So yeah, we'll stop here. Any questions, any comments?
Prabhuji, this association, auspiciousness and inauspiciousness that we discussed, means most of the time we, get kind of absorbed in this auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. Like, I should do this today. I should not do this, and all those stuff.
Yeah. See,
Like some people say that don't shave on Thursday and then Tuesday, something like that.
okay, good.
Barber shop is.
Yeah.
Tuesdays only, Tuesdays and Fridays.
Oh, our place it is like Thursday. They don't. It's a Vishnu day for us. It's like in North India.
Okay. So,
Guru.
just Ram Navami passed, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, Lord Ram, right? He was told that tomorrow you will become the king.
Mm.
Okay, and everyone was very happy and all that. Sita was happy, Kaushalya was happy. Kaikai was initially happy, but in association of
Mantra.
mantra,
Antara.
she started
Mantra.
planning something. Mantra, right?
Yes.
She started planning something. Within one night, meaning a day before, Ram is told, you will become the king. Just the next morning, what happens? You will not
She
become
told,
the king.
yeah,
You will go to
to go.
forest. And Lord Ram didn't start crying over there. Oh, what did you are telling me? Yesterday night you were telling me this. Today morning you are telling me that. This is not what Lord Ram did. He was he was equipoised to this auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. Okay, so that is what it means to be to be um, tolerant to auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. Okay.
Yes. Really.
So now situations will come to us. And we have to act auspiciously only. Okay, we should try to act the best way. What is auspicious, we should always try to act like that. But there can be inauspicious situations coming in our life. At that point, we should not be carried away by that inauspiciousness. We should be tolerant. Yeah, and we should remember Lord Ram's. Lord Ram was told to go to forest. He immediately started thinking, "Oh, I like to go to forest. I like to go and visit the sadhus and the rishi munis in the forest. I want to hear about them." So in their 14 years of exile, Lord Ram visited a lot of rishi munis. It was only in the 6 months, the last 6 months is when Sita got abducted and the Ramayana war happened. Otherwise, for remaining 13 years and 6 months, Ram was always visiting Rishi Munis and hearing from them this history, that story, this philosophy, like that. So he always liked that. I like to go there. This is what he was thinking. I don't want this enjoyment and all that. If you read Ramayana, right, this is exactly what he says.
Exploring.
Exploring, it's see, it's not exploring. See, sometimes exploring means jumping from one branch to another. But this exploration means different. It is exploration in spirituality. And here there is steadiness of mind. Sometimes people explore, and it's like, I'm doing this sometimes, I'm doing that sometimes, right? That is not, you see, it should be in mode of goodness. It should not be in passion mode. In passion mode, what happens is 2 years I did this, 3 years I did that, 4 years I did this. People do that, right? So
Exactly.
many stories are there like that. That exploration is mode of passion, but mode of goodness exploration is I want to be in a place which is enhancing my mode of goodness. So you ask this question, right? So mode of goodness, right? Let's it's pure or it's free from sinful reaction. So that is the explanation. I want to be in a place where there is mode of goodness. Hmm? um, like okay, we there was our table, right? Table, let's see. Uh,
Yeah. Right.
so in this, it is said that city is in mode of passion, forest is in mode of goodness, you see.
Prabhuji, what about villages and all? Villages
Villages,
also?
again, it depends what kind of village are we talking about.
Yeah.
But generally,
It's a
it is also in mode of goodness only, village. Yeah.
junction. We can say it's a junction.
It's junction. Some villages are like that. They're junction. Some villages are too much in mode of goodness. See, forest, town, gambling house. So Lord Ram was saying, "Oh, I like the forest. Why? Not because there are animals over there. Because Rishi Munis are there. Sometimes people go to this forest. I want to see this animal, that animal, and Lord Ram is also going to forest. But that explanation is different. It is explaining the different Rishi Munis. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Any more question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In many places, bhoot, and since you were saying about ghosts in the previous shloka, what is the difference between bhoot and pishach, Prabhuji?
Both are same.
Both are same. In many
For us, both
places,
are
it is
same.
bhuta, preta. They are, I mean,
See,
they are
interestingly,
addressed
this
differently.
word na bhuta is there in Bhagavad Gita also, but it doesn't
Bhoot
Subtle
and Preet
mean
body, no,
both are there.
Prabhuji.
ah
Subtle body is bhoot,
bhutanam,
no?
bhutanam, bhutanam. But
Mm.
there it means something
No.
else, and I think the bhuta
Sarva Bhutanam.
bhutanam.
That is not that in
That is
Jiva,
not the
I
bhut.
think.
Yeah,
Bhutana.
that is not the bhut.
Bhuta
Uh,
Preta Gana Shaiva something
In
is
many
yeah,
also.
yeah,
places, I have read that, Prabhuji.
Even
Bhoot
in
and
Hanuman
are
Chalisa,
addressed differently.
Hanuman
yeah,
Chalisa.
yeah. For that, we have to ask Lord Shiva. Only
Pishas,
He knows
even
what is this
in
bhuta preta, because he's
Preta word is
surrounded by
there.
that.
Only one, I think. Preta word is there.
Bhutu Pishas
Bhuta,
near
Pichasha.
Yamdev.
Yeah. That's true. In Srimad Bhagavatam, right? This, uh, is it fourth canto? I think it's fourth canto. Um, talks between Lord Shiva and Sati. Okay, let's see. Let's see. This. Let's see something is there or not. Hmm. Brahma satisfied frustration of Sati quits her body. Okay. Yeah, the followers of Lord Shiva, the ghost. Uh,
Okay, okay, Prabhuji.
I'm not very. It's a Bhuta Ganan. Bhuta Ganan. It's like the ghosts. Let's see if Prabhupada has said anything about the ghosts or something. Yeah. But yeah, these are like, subtle bodies who didn't get gross body, who didn't get a body of bones and all that, bones and flesh. That are ghosts.
But they
Uh,
don't harm normal people, no,
they
Prabhuji?
harm, yeah, they harm.
They
They
harm,
harm
okay.
devotees also. So those devotees, who are having difficulties or something, sometimes the ghost enter into their body also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some,
Thank you,
some karma is
Prabhuji.
there, we never know. That also happens.
Let us not discuss about this now. We will.
No,
Night.
no, see. Okay, good point you said.
Yeah, it
Let's
is
not
night.
discuss. Okay, we should discuss something else then. I'll tell you.
We
In
will
Krishna
dream
book,
of Bhuta.
wait. In Krishna book, when Putana was killed, right?
Yeah.
Um, after reading Putana, Sukdev Goswami gives blessing. Okay, it's not here. He gives blessing. Okay, so it's we'll go to Shrimad Bhagavatam. It's not mentioned there. Okay. So if we are afraid of Puta and Pishasha and all that, now we should hear Putana pastime. Just by hearing Putana pastime, right?
Putana pastime.
Yeah. Putana pastime, Sukdev Goswami gives blessings.
Okay.
That, you
She
know,
was actually she was a very nice lady, I believe. No,
huh, huh,
after
huh.
But she
was
was
she?
a demoness.
She was a
Yeah,
demoness.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
the
yeah. She was a demon,
greatest
right?
demoness.
Was cursed by somebody.
Ah, she was cursed.
Yeah.
So it is said that if we remember Putana pastime, then such, uh, Pishacha and ghosts, they don't attack us.
Mm.
Okay. So just because we have heard about Putana and we are, thinking about Putana Ghatana Krishna, then, such things won't affect us.
Mm.
Okay. So don't worry. Krishna is the solution for everything.
Everything.
Hmm.
Think